And welcome back. I am your host, the Susan Anime O'Hagan, or you could just call me Susanna May O'Hagan. I don't care. Today we are going to talk about the upgrade. So my Gummy Bears podcast land is both the name on the YouTube channel now and on my podcast. And I switched from Slough Under the Sea with me to You, Me, and Microphone Podcast because I thought it might be easier to remember. That's right, I switcherooned. And instead of having Uniquely You Always Moon Queen of Gems, Uniquely You Always Sweetie Moon's podcast, and Not So Fabulous Sweet Anime Sloths, I'll keep them up, but I think I'm just gonna combine them all into one and then do a podcast on my Patreon as well. I'm not 100% sure though. That's the question of the day. And what would you all like to hear on this podcast? Other than a bell going off? Because I know that would be kind of annoying. Okay, so let's see. I have so many things. Cry in the Wild. Alexa, hang on real quick. Alexa, stop. So we're going to talk about A Cry in the Wild, which is actually a movie. Cry in the Wild, The Taking of Peggy Ann, 1991. Cry in the World, The Taking of Peggy Ann is a 1991 American television movie directed by Carol Correll. If I pronounce any of these names wrong, so I'm so sorry. You can politely tell me how to say them in the comments below. Okay. The plot is based on the true story of the abduction of Peggy Ann Bradnick by an ex-convict and ex-mental patient William Diller Hollenbaugh, which took place in Shady Gap, Pennsylvania on May 11th, 1966. The film was first aired on NBC on May 6th, 1991, and was the most watched primetime show of the week. Cry in the World, The Taking of Peggy Ann is a... Wait, okay. I don't know why I kept repeating it. The Kidnapping of Peggy Ann took place near Shade Gap, Pennsylvania on May 11th, 1966. Bradnick, who was 17 years old at the time, was kidnapped by William and held captive for 7 days before she was rescued by Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI at a farm in Burnt Cabins, Pennsylvania. Her ordeal made national headlines, and the search was the largest manhunt in United States history. And at the time, the FBI agent Terry R. Anderson was shot and killed in pursuit of Hollenbaugh. I am not sure how you say this name. Okay, PA. Peggy Ann was okay. Her kidnapping made international news, and at the time it was the largest manhunt in the U. Okay, why is this just repeating itself? Peggy Ann said in an interview with WTAG 5 years ago, I feel marvelous. I feel very happy to be alive and to be spreading the word. Peggy also talked about the day her life was saved by a Pennsylvania state trooper. 55 years ago, Peggy Ann was walking home from her school bus stop with her brother and sister when William Diller Hollenbaugh grabbed her and dragged her into the woods. Hollenbaugh was said to have suffered from mental illness. Peggy Ann said, I forgave him for the very get-go because you can't take and blame something that's blameless. He was blameless. The system failed. The manhunt ensued, and while Peggy Ann was not said to have been physically abused or you know, essay, the day before her safe return home, Hillenberg shot and killed an FBI agent who was trying to rescue Peggy Ann. After 8 days and walking for more than 100 miles barefoot through mountains with little food or water, Peggy was safely rescued near Burnt's cabins. Her kidnapper Williams was shot and killed. Peggy Ann is still alive and tells her story to this day. And since that was a very, very short story, I don't know where to go from there. Um, that's weird. I still have like very weird like stuff on my phone that's just all over the place right now. Okay. Okay, so that was a short story about Peggy Ann, and that is a very weird list. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out this whole thing. Okay. I guess we'll talk about baby Jessica down a well, since that's the way we're going right now. Baby Jessica down a well. Jessica McClure Morales. Wow, I am so sorry. I cannot pronounce these names. I've literally sat there read this like 50 times before trying to read them and I still can't say it. McClure Morales? Wow, not good. Born March 26, 1986. Hey, we're both March babies. Widely known as Jessica, in 1987 fell into a well in her aunt's backyard in Midland, Texas on October 14th, 1987 at the age of 18 months. Well, that's terrifying. Over the next 56 hours, rescuers worked to successfully free her from the 8-inch, 20 centimeters well casing, approximately 22 feet, 7 m below grade. The story garnered worldwide attention and was later featured in the 1986 ABC television movie Everybody's Baby: The Rescue of Jessica McClure. The incident occurred in Midland, Texas, where firemen and police developed a plan to drill a parabol staff to the well where Jessica was lodged and drilled another horizontal across tunnel to rescue her. Enlisting the help of local oil drillers, officials hoped to free Jessica, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her last name, quickly before discovering the well was surrounded by rock. The rescue jackhammers were also equipped as they were designed for downward rather than horizontal drilling. A mining engineer eventually arrived to help, supervising and coordinating the rescue effort, and a relatively new technology, water jet cutting, was ultimately used to cut through the rock. 45 hours after Jessica fell into the well, the adjunct stuff and cross tunnel were complete. During the drilling, rescuers could hear Jessica singing Winnie the Pooh. A roofing contractor, Ron Shorts, volunteered to go down the shaft. He had been born without collarbone and could collapse his shoulder to work in tight confines. The team considered his offer, but paramedic Robert O'Donnell was ultimately able to inch his way into the tunnel, wrestling Jessica free from her position pinned inside the well with one leg above her forehead and hand her to a fellow paramedic who carried her up to the safety before giving her to another paramedic who carried her to a waiting ambulance. CNN covered the rescue effort. Then President Ronald Reagan said everybody in America became godmothers and godfathers of Jessica while this was going on. Throughout the incident, a local media outlet, KMID TV, received calls from news organizations and private individuals globally seeking the latest information. In 1988, Jessica and her parents appeared on Live with Reagan and Kate Lee to talk about the incident. Photographs of McClure resurfaced, received the 1988 Pulitzer Prize for Sport News Photography to Scott Shaw of the Obsessed America. ABC made a television movie of the story in 1989. Everybody's Baby, The Rescue of Jessica McClure. If I'm saying her name wrong, I'm so sorry. Streaming B.U. Bridges and Patty Duke and featuring many participants from the actual rescue as extras. On May 30th, 2007, USA Today ranked Jessica number 22 on its list of 25 lives of disabled impact. Following Jessica's rescue on October 26, 1987, doctors feared they would have to amputate Jessica's foot due to damage from loss of blood flow sustained from a leg being elevated above her head for the 58 and a half hours she was stuck in the well. They decided to try hyperbrace therapy in an attempt to avoid full amputation. In the end, surgery only had to amputate a toe due to carnage caused by loss of circulation while she was in the well. Jessica carried a scar on her forehead where her head rubbed against the well, causing and despite the incident and 15 related surgeries, retained no first-hand memory of the event. Her parents divorced in 1990. Paramedic Robert O'Donnelly, August 27, 1957 through April 27, 1995, died by suicide at the age of 32 by shooting himself in the head with a shotgun due to the suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder after the rescue. In May, Jessica graduated Greenwood High School in a small community near Midland on January 28, 2006. She married Daniel Morales at the Church of Christ in Neutris, Texas, about 40 miles 60 km from Midland. They met at a daycare center where she worked with his sister. They have two children, a son born in 2007 and a daughter born in 2009. When Jessica turned 25 on March 26, 2011, she received a trust fund composed of donations from around the world, which she discussed using for the children's college and which she used to purchase her home, less than 2 miles from the well into which she fell. However, she also indicated that a great deal of the funds was lost in the 2008 stock market crash. Houston, Texas, it was October 14, 1987 when the world watched as dozens of rescue workers descended on a backyard in Midland to save the life of a baby girl who fell down a well. Her name was Jessica McClure, but she will be forever remembered in America's hearts as baby Jessica. She was just 18 months old when she fell into the 8-inch well in her aunt's backyard. For more than 2 tense days, we held our collective breaths as what happened next became the focus of every media outlet in the country, with America watching and waiting to see if the toddler could be saved in time. Trapped inside the tiny space, it was a tough task getting a little Jessica, but the people of Midland were just the ones to get the job done. Their wealth of gas and oil experts and workers provided the expertise needed to get Jessica, frightened and alone 22 feet below the ground. Rescuers brought in heavy drilling equipment and carefully dug another staff parallel to the pipe where Jessica was stuck. It took 58 hours, but finally on the night of October 16th, Jessica was safely pulled from the well. Jessica suffered a cut on her head and later had to have a toe amputated because of infection. Now, a mother with children of her own, Jessica is said to be Jessica is said to have no first-hand memory of the event. Rescuers brought in heavy drilling equipment and carefully dug another staff parallel to the pipe where Jessica was. It took 58 hours, but finally on the night of... Oh yeah, we already just said that. So that is two stories, one of baby Jessica in the well and a cry in the wild. I hope y'all enjoyed and have a great and wonderful day, and I hope we all learned something from this. Jessica down a well and Peggy Ann.